So what is reality? And what is actually shaping and creating your reality? So this is what we're really going to look at on this episode of the Hypergrowth Zone podcast, where we explore deeper layers of personal growth, transformation, and the hidden forces that shape your reality. Because we're going to uncover the invisible. We're going to find the unconscious programs that hold you back. So we're diving into something really, really powerful, because there's so many unconscious programs that are deeper than you've ever imagined. They're running beneath the surface of your mind. And these hidden patterns, they influence your choices, shape your relationships, and can even keep you from really stepping into the ideal you and creating the reality that you want. So imagine this. You're driving a car, but instead of holding the steering wheel, there's a backseat driver quietly nudging the wheel, guiding your path without you being aware of it. That's what unconscious programming can feel like, right? So let's get to it. Let's see what these programs are, how to spot them, and most importantly, how to begin rewriting, reprogramming them, rewiring them so they work for you and with you. So, what are unconscious programs? So what do I mean when I say that? So think of these as automatic patterns of thoughts, beliefs, emotions, behaviors, habits stored deep in your subconscious. So they're like background software running without your awareness. And just like software on a computer, some programs really, really helpful. Other programs are outdated and they're not so helpful. They even get in the way of your results. And maybe you felt that before, getting in the way of the results. And maybe you've also felt some programs that are really helpful. So most of these programs get installed early in life. At some point you made a decision and you decided something before you started to believe something. Or you heard someone say something, you picked up on their emotion, you felt something from another person, and you also picked up and installed programs about certain emotions as well. So maybe growing up, you heard someone say, we don't deserve to make a lot of money. We just want to live a simple life. That's what we want to do. Money's really hard to make. So maybe you've heard someone say that, and all of a sudden that belief turns into a hidden program that makes you feel insecure or unsafe about earning a lot of money, about spending a lot of money. You feel like you have to keep all this money, or as soon as you make money, all of a sudden the money's gone. Or maybe as a child, you learned that love was conditional. So you had to do certain things or behave in a certain way to feel like you were accepted. Well, as an adult, that can show up as thinking you have to be perfect, or maybe the fear of failure, the fear of rejection. So when you're doing these things, a lot of these things you picked up from 0 to 7 really early on. So what's funny is when I work with people, it's fine that they have these beliefs. It's fine that they have these fears to get rid of. At the same time, do you really want to hold on to a behavior and a belief or a thought or an emotion that was helping you when you were 2, 3, 4 years old? And now you're, let's say, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, whatever it is. Do you want to hold on to an emotion that's not getting you the results that you want, that's hidden inside of you, that you're maybe not aware of? I mean, what good is that going to do for you? Because the thing is you didn't necessarily consciously choose these programs in the beginning. You had these installed based on experiences, family, culture, repetition. Until you bring them to light now, they're going to run your life from the shadows. So how do you know if your unconscious programs are holding you back? So let's think about this. One sign is repeating negative cycles or loops. So maybe every new relationship you have, it starts great. You're like, this is amazing. But within 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you feel undervalued. You feel not worthy of love. Or maybe you start a new job, everything goes great. Then all of a sudden you feel undervalued and you're stressed and you're burned out after a few months. So things begin great and they end in a way that's not so great. So you get caught in this loop and you notice it keeps happening. So that's one way to recognize that you have hidden patterns that are probably not helping you. Or you have some results and then you self-sabotage. So there's a lot of different negative cycles or loops that you can get into. And I mentioned a few there. So something leads to burnout. Something leads to self-sabotage. Something leads to failure and then you quit. You start something and you stop. So these are all loops that you can notice. Another thing to look for is disproportionate emotional triggers. So let's say you're wanting to close a deal and the customer you just talked to, they seemed excited and they're like, yep, I'm going to send over the payment right away. And when they don't get back to you right away, suddenly you start to have a bunch of negative emotions. The intensity of the reaction is often a clue that something much deeper is going on here. Or let's say your spouse doesn't get back to you when they said they would, and you get really fearful or some sort of emotional trigger happens. Chances are you probably have something to resolve inside of you because your reality is a mirror around you. So you can also check the mirror. Check your mirror. What you're feeling on the inside, if you're seeing that all around in your reality and it's giving you negative emotions, chances are you have some unconscious hidden patterns that you're going to want to resolve. So self-sabotage, like I said, it's another big one. You get that momentum, then you procrastinate or you find a way to fail. It feels like you want success, but there's something inside of you that's holding you back from doing that. So if any of this sounds familiar, it doesn't mean you have a problem. It just means that you have an old program that you can easily and effortlessly work on. It's easy. So you can actually spot these hidden patterns because awareness is always the first step. And maybe the things I went over already, you're like, yeah, I do that. And you found the old pattern already. So if you have and you want to get rid of that, you can also reach out to me. All my information will be in the description of this episode. And if you listen on YouTube, it'll be in the description there. So a few practical ways that you can also do this on your own is you can grab a notebook and ask yourself some questions. What patterns keep repeating in my life? And notice, are they good or are they bad? Or you can ask yourself, what did I learn about love, money, success while growing up? And notice if you're repeating those things. I'm not saying those are good or bad, but ask yourself, are these really getting me what I want? Are these patterns leading to the results that I want? And if you're listening, chances are they're probably not. However, if everything is good and all your patterns are leading to all the results, then definitely share this episode with other people. Or another question, when I think about failure, what's the first thing that comes to mind? When did I decide to create this? And this will reveal some core beliefs that you have about yourself, the root cause of those beliefs. So you can ask yourself questions and you can see what are some of these beliefs you have? What are these patterns you have? What are your habits? And ask yourself, do you feel good about them? Are they getting you the results that you want? So do that. The other thing that you can do is have some emotional awareness, some mindfulness as well. So next time you have one of those disproportionate emotional triggers, instead of reacting, ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? For example, let's say you're supposed to go somewhere and someone cancels at the last minute and they tell you they're busy. However, you have a hidden program that's maybe saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not important, I don't deserve it, I'm not lovable. So ask yourself, what story are you telling yourself right now? Is it about you or is it about that other person? So have some emotional awareness about what's going on. And those are all limiting beliefs that you can easily and effortlessly get rid of. So you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this to let go of the belief? And what do I want to believe instead? Also, you can notice this in your body as well. The mind and body, a lot of people say there's a mind-body connection. The mind-body is one. That's how I like to think of it. So when something happens, notice how your body feels. Does something tighten? Does your stomach get in knots? Do your shoulders, legs feel tense in certain situations? Because your nervous system, it'll often react before you start really thinking something in your mind as well. So these are all clues to tell you that, yes, you have some programs, and that's fine. Or maybe you can get feedback from others as well. You can ask a really trusted friend, family member, what's a cycle you notice me repeating, and ask them to be really honest and open with you because you really want to better yourself. You can frame it like this. If they're like, well, I don't want to get into that, say, look, I really keep noticing I'm doing certain things, but I can't really pinpoint it. So do you notice that I run a certain pattern that's like not getting me the results that I want because I told you I wanted to do this and I'm not? So what do you think? I'm really trying to get to the bottom of this. So listen to them, get their feedback. This can be humbling or eye-opening. You don't have to do all those. So if you don't want to ask for feedback, maybe you can journal. You can ask yourself. Also, you may find something from your dreams, your imagination. The unconscious mind loves symbols. So if you pay attention to recurring dreams and how you feel, what are the emotions of those dreams? Maybe these reveal underlying fears or things that you want that you haven't gotten yet. So you can uncover stuff as well with your imagination and your dreams too. So do some of these things. Put effort in your mind here. This is the thing. You're putting effort in your mind. This doesn't really take much physical effort. This shows you too that you can build rapport with your unconscious mind. So in the future, when stuff comes up, your mind's going to have this habit of finding out sooner rather than later, probably right away. So once you've spotted an unconscious program, the next step is reprogramming it, rewiring it, rewriting it. And this is where the transformation really happens quite easily and effortlessly. So remember, having awareness alone, that's really, really powerful. So the moment you are aware of the problem, you see the pattern, you hear the pattern, you feel the pattern, it already loses some of its grip. So a lot of times when I'm asking clients questions, I'm asking them questions for a specific purpose to find the programs. I'm also asking questions in a certain way to shake up the way that they look at the world right now. So their model of the world is really going to start changing. So to create lasting change, you want to be able to rewire these programs really, really easily. So one of the things I always recommend, because I do it as well, is hypnosis. It's really easy to reprogram your mind with hypnosis. So I'll leave a link in the description to a lot of my hypnosis audios that are based around that and creating new thinking and all of that. So there is a simple exercise too that you can do is write down one limiting belief that you've noticed. That's right. So write down one limiting belief that you've noticed. And right next to that, you can write the opposite empowering belief. So what is it you want to believe instead? That's right. And before bed, since your mind is really suggestible during this time, think about stepping into that empowering belief just for a minute or two. That's right. So that when you go to sleep, your mind is also thinking of that empowering belief. Because when you suggest things to yourself before you go to sleep, that's what your mind is going to think about. Your mind's going while you're sleeping. It's running your body. It's preserving your body, refreshing your body. So why not also refresh your mind with an empowering belief as you sleep? because your mind is really working 24/7. So why not have it work for you with those programs while you sleep? So then when you wake up, you're going to feel good. And when you wake up, imagine stepping into that empowering belief for a minute or two so that you're starting the day and finishing the day stepping into that empowering belief. So you can imagine a situation where you're living in that belief, looking through your own eyes, hearing through your own ears, and feeling the feelings of having that belief. And doing this consistently, you're showing your mind that this is a new program that you want, because your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. And imagining it only for a minute or two is going to be really, really helpful. So, write down a limiting belief. Next to it, write what's the opposite of that, or what's a really empowering belief that you want. Think about it a minute or two before you go to sleep. Step into your body. Notice yourself doing something with that empowering belief. You're going to sleep on that all night knowing that you believe that, and then you're going to wake up for a minute or two and do the same thing. And if you also want to take time in the middle of the day to do this for a minute or two, perfect. Do that as well. You can just imagine this while you're in line at the grocery store. Imagine stepping into that belief. Do it with your eyes open. No one is even going to know what you're doing. So you're going to rewrite the programs. You're going to rewire your mind, and you're going to reprogram your mind. It's going to be really fun, easy, automatic, natural. And the more repetition your mind gets, that's how the habit gets installed. The mind needs repetition for a habit to be installed. So if you do this every single day, all of a sudden this belief is going to be automatic for you really quickly, just by imagining it for a few minutes a day. So maybe you have worked with someone and you notice that they kept hitting a wall in their career. I know I have. And even if this person was offered a promotion, they've all of a sudden felt negative emotions. They were overwhelmed, anxious. And they would eventually, instead of deciding to take the promotion, they would actually turn it down even though that's what they wanted. So they would think like, oh, it's bad timing. I don't want to have more work. I don't want to do this. Underneath, though, it's a program they installed early on. So once they uncovered that program, this person, they could take any promotion that they wanted. And all of a sudden they saw more opportunities than before. And now they're leading so many other people. So I'm sure you know someone like this. And if you do know them, tell them about this episode that they can listen. So let's recap really quickly. Unconscious programs are hidden patterns formed by past experiences. So these are old behaviors that installed that aren't really serving you anymore. You want to be the ideal you. You need empowering beliefs. You want to have empowering beliefs. You intend to create empowering beliefs, and you definitely have them. You just need to think about them. All the resources are already inside of you. Think about these resources. Think about these programs instead. They're there. So you can spot these programs by looking for repeating cycles, strong triggers, body signals, and old beliefs. And once you see them, you rewrite them, you reprogram them, you rewire them. So for this week, do what I said before bed and when you wake up or in the middle of the day with that empowering belief. Or you can pick an area of your life where you feel stuck and ask yourself, what is the unconscious program that's running there? And write down what comes up and think about how you can shift it. Because the mind is powerful. It's way smarter than you think. It already knows how. So many people come to me and they're like, I have a goal. I have no idea how to do it. All right, let me ask you some questions. Let's install this goal as a memory in the future. And all of a sudden they know how to do it. So your mind is way more powerful than you think, especially when you have that unconscious competence in running it. You know what's running it. You're going to install everything that's good that you want because remember, that's already inside of you. So thanks so much for listening today. If you found this episode helpful, definitely share it with a friend or someone you know, someone you work with, someone who's a business partner in your family. They may need it too, just so they can be aware at the very least. And please review the podcast wherever you're listening. If you are listening on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe so you can make sure that you get a notification for the next episode. And until the next episode, keep exploring your mind, keep uncovering these hidden programs, and keep reprogramming, rewriting, and rewiring those programs in your unconscious mind to create the reality that you want. And I hope to see you on the next episode.